Hey y'all, it's Ivy once again, and I'm here to give you your recap of the second premiere of season 6. Now, this episode I think was a lot better than the first. It had a lot more funny queens. Last week's episode was more about the glamour queens. This one I think was more about the funny queens. So, anyway, it starts off with the first 6 queens that were not eliminated last week coming back into the workroom and having a little mini party and just celebrating their victory and that they made it into the top. And unfortunately, Kelly sashayed away. I'm still angry about that, Ru. I think Kelly deserves to be on All Stars. Okay? So anyway, Mama Ru comes in with her fierce face. Can I just talk about this for a second? Mama Ru, you were giving me Megamind realness there. Her face is entirely blue. She had the curlers in her hair. It was hilarious and campy, yet it was fierce, darling. So then we start off with the next 7 queens to enter the competition. And the first one to enter the workroom is one of my favorite queens of all time, Miss Bianca Del Rio. Bianca Del Rio describes herself as Dawn Rickles, who is an insult comic, in a dress, or a clown. I have to agree with her, but she is still a fierce and funny queen. I love this girl to death, and she's in my top 3. I hope she wins. The next queen to come in is Miss Trinity K. Bonet. Now, remember that on my first impressions video, I thought she was going to be very boring. I didn't think she was very funny. She's just, But her look when she came in to the workroom was fierce. She had the jewels covering the face, and the hair, and the dress. Like, girl, hello. Okay, the next girl to come in was Miss Jocelyn Fox. Jocelyn is the complete and total opposite of Trinity when it comes to the look. Jocelyn looked like a freaking hooker, okay? The dress came up to, like, right underneath her ass, and it had the open back, and she had all this jewelry on. I just thought, girl, you look like a freaking hooker that they just picked up off the street. Like, what the F is wrong with you? You're at RuPaul's Drag Race. You're not on Stripper Wars. Like, what the fuck? Okay, the next girl to come in was Milk. Milk was serving Matador realness, girl. She looked fierce. She had the high boots on. She had the Matador jacket. I love this girl. Next to come in was Miss Magnolia Crawford. She considers herself the trash queen. She considers herself a glamorous trash queen. And her opener was really funny. She kept on saying, I'm Seattle's prettiest drag queen. I'm not that pretty. I'm Seattle's funniest drag queen. I'm not really funny either. And I like that. That's pretty much where the compliments for her end. One of the queen, Trinity, said that she looked like Peg Bundy, and I had to totally agree with her. And can we talk about the nose contour for a second? I have to ask this. How many lies have you told, Magnolia? Like, she looked like freaking Pinocchio. What the fuck? Next girl to come in was Miss Courtney Act, and Courtney looked stunning. I loved her entrance into the workroom. Like, she kept on saying, is this America's Next Top Model? Then she ran back out, and then she came in and said, just kidding. But I love her. She was a finalist on the first ever season of Australian Idol, and honestly, she is a fierce, fierce queen. Okay, the last queen to come in was Miss Darian Lake. Darian, her opener interview, I call them, was completely hilarious. She said that she was 24 and then she was a compulsive liar. And she's actually the oldest queen in the competition at age 41, which I think is really cool. She's the oldest queen, yet she looks so young. Her face looks so young. So then we get to the part where they have to do the photo shoot. And last week they did a photo shoot, and it was like old Hollywood TV. You were taking a leap and then you landed in the foam pit. This time they did it like it was a slumber party, and they had to take an amazing glamour shot while having a pillow fight with the pit crew, which I thought was pretty cool. That's a really amazing concept, because you have feathers everywhere and the pit crew, and you have to base all these elements, which is really, really cool. So I think the good people in the photo shoot were Bianca Del Rio, Trinity K. Bonet, Courtney Act, and Darienne Lake. Darienne's shot, her best shot, looked like she was in doggy style. I swear to Jesus, it was hilarious, but I loved it anyway. But the three queens that I thought did the worst were Jocelyn Fox, Magnolia Crawford, and unfortunately Milk. Milk being the highest and Magnolia being the lowest. Magnolia, she just wasn't my favorite. And the overall winner of the photo shoot was Trinity K. Bonet, which I was really happy about. I thought she did the best glamour shot. She gave the best face. Courtney was also very quirky in her photos, but she also did a very pretty glamour shot, which I thought was amazing. So I thought it should have either been Trinity or Courtney who won, which I think they made the right decision. And I'm glad that they didn't pick anyone else. Okay, so as the winner of the mini challenge, Trinity got to assign roles for the main challenge, just like Laganja did last week. And she got to assign, and what the main challenge really was they had to create a couture look based on a type of party. And actually, before we even get to the types of parties they had to do, I had to say this. When Jocelyn came in from doing her photo shoot, her dress kept on rising and rising and rising over her ass. And I'm like, girl, there's this new invention. It's called underwear. Have you ever heard of it? Why don't you put some on? I really don't want to see your ass. I don't want to see all that flab. And that is a reeb. Okay, so Trinity assigns the parties, and she assigns herself to have the princess party, which I think is the best decision. That's really the safest move you can make, is to make the princess party. But then she gave the toga party to Milk, the luau party to Bianca Del Rio, the hoedown party to Magnolia Crawford, the St. Patrick's Day party to Darienne Lake, the quinceañera party to Jocelyn Fox, and then the Republican Party, which I thought was the funniest, was Courtney Act. So when Rue comes in doing her walkthrough, she goes first to Darienne Lake. Darienne acts sort of like Gia in the last episode. Like, she doesn't really know where she's going to go with her look. And that is a killer in this competition. You really have to know where you're going with your look, and you really have to convince Rue that you know what you're doing, or else you most likely are going to be going home, dear. So anyway, the next is Bianca, and during her walkthrough with Rue, Bianca reveals that she is a seamstress, and she does some of her witty comedy, and she says that she has a little Rolodex of hate in her head, and I'm just like, girl, you go! I love this queen to frickin' death. Please. Next was Trinity, and she revealed that the K in her name, Trinity K. Bonet, stands for Kardashian. Okay, don't know how that happened. However, it did happen. I don't really want to know. Okay, so the next queen is, actually no, back to Trinity for a second. She reveals that her princess-inspired look is a cross between Princess Leia in Star Wars and Kate Middleton, who of course is married to Prince William. That's a very odd combination, but I'll go with it. The next queen is Magnolia, and she reveals that she's a trash queen, and she is not happy with her box that she got. She really is not happy with it. She's not having it. She hates the fabric that she got. She thinks it all looks like crap, and I'm just like, girl, you work with what you got, and if you don't like it, too bad, because this is a competition. You know, you're here to compete to be America's Next Drag Superstar. You're not here to, like, do your own fucking thing. You have to do what's in the challenge. And the challenge is to create a look based on the materials that you're given inside your box. Work with it. You take it and you work with it. Next is Courtney Act. Now, Ru explains Courtney's name to America. And the thing is, Courtney's name is supposed to sound like caught in the act, which it does in an Australian accent, but it doesn't really work in American accents, except if you're like in Boston or something. So she explains the name, and then she talks to Ru about her look, and the look is really nice, the way it looks on the mannequin so far, and it shows a lot of body. So Courtney's going like, I know Michelle's gonna read me and say, Courtney, stop relying on that body. Hashtag, stop relying on that body. So, you know what, it's not safe. Honestly, it was a safe look. It's a safe look. It also could have landed her in the bottom, honestly, if it didn't work right, but I thought it was looking good during the walkthrough, so it was good. Next, Jocelyn. Apparently, Jocelyn doesn't know what a quinceañera is because she thinks a quinceañera is when you turn 51. Girl. Brain in there? Hello? And she picks out all the fabric in her box and she says that she narrows it down. It looks like she took her whole freaking box and decided, I'm just gonna do all of this fabric on my dress. What the hell, girl? That's narrowing it down? It honestly looked busy. Busy. Next, Ru goes to Milk. And Milk says that she is a creepy freak-out queen. She's sort of like Sharon Needles, and that she likes to do stuff that's different from other queens. You know, she's not the normal drag queen. And she says that she wants to do a Xanadu jumpsuit for her toga party look. And I'm like, jumpsuit involves pants. This can't be good. So I was like, Milk. So the guest judge, so Ru announces that the guest judge is going to be Trinity's idol, Khloe Kardashian. Now I want to say this. Mike Ruiz, who is the photographer for all of the photo shoots during the first challenge of Drag Race, I don't know why he's not one of the guest judges like he was last week. I thought that would have been somewhat normal since this is actually a premiere episode in a way, and he also did the photo shoot. So I was kind of confused on that. I don't really know. So and then when they're putting their looks together and everything, Milk decides that she's going to wear a beard on the runway. Like facial hair, the beard. And I'm like, girl, this is a drag queen competition, not a drag king competition. I hope you haven't packed all of your shit and that some of it is still in your suitcases, because you could most possibly be going home. So then we get to the runway, and it starts off with Miss Trinity K. Bonet. Now she had the princess party, may I remind you, and this is not your average princess look, air quote on princess. It's sort of like a futuristic princess, and it looked really neat. My only critique on it was that she had a pizza box, bulletin board, something around her neck. It looked like a satellite dish. It's like, girl, how many channels can you pick up on that thing? And yes, that was a read. But in the end, it was a really cool look. I love the look. If she would have left that satellite dish around her neck off when she went on the runway, I would have loved it even more. And I thought she could have won the challenge. But instead, she decided to go on the runway and do that. So that was her decision. Oh well. Next was Miss Bianca Del Rio. Now, Bianca looked fierce in her dress. You know, she is a seamstress and she knows how to sew. Thank Jesus. Because the Hawaiian print, the floral-like print, it looked so great. And her presentation on the runway was fierce. And I kept on thinking to myself in my head, meet her in the cabana. Like, that was how fierce her look looked. Okay, next we had Miss Darian Lake. Now, her look was way too simple. It was just like a green shirt with this like mesh see-through skirt. that totally showed off her crotch. So, not really a good thing. Speaking of that, when they were doing the critique, because I don't really talk about this a lot, during the critique, Khloe Kardashian kept talking about her vag and how she can't wear like those types of materials around her vag. It's like, Khloe, I don't want to hear about your vag. I hear about it enough in the tabloids. Do I really have to hear it when I'm watching one of my favorite shows on TV? Thank you. Okay, but anyway, back to Darienne's look. I kept on thinking, office St. Patrick's Day party. That's what I was thinking. It looked like an office wear party that you would wear to an office party. And it's just like, that's not the challenge. The challenge was to create a couture look and make it look fierce. Okay, so next was Magnolia Crawford. I hated Magnolia's hair, number one. Her hair was, like, you could see the lace front part of the wig, and it did not look cute. Her makeup wasn't the best, especially her nose contour. She looked like frickin' Pinocchio again, which I was pissed off about. Then she had this simple cow print dress with a bow on her ass and red high heel shoes. That does not scream couture to me. That screams desperation and not successful at it. She really was not successful. Next we had Jocelyn. Now her look was busy. Busy. And the bodice on it had no like real structure to it. It was just flat. Then I thought it would be better without the long skirts attached. Like it was just the little stitches of fabric that she had that looked like the bags attached to her ass. It could have looked like a showgirl look, like a showgirl quinceanera, and I thought that would have been really cool and cute. But unfortunately, that's what she did. So next was Miss Courtney Act, and 3 words. Body, body, body. Hello. I don't even have a body that great. I'm jealous of her, and she's a man. So anyway, she looked hot. The hair worked with the outfit. The only critique that I had about her outfit was that the skirt was way too long and that she was tripping on it, just like Laganja did last week. You really need to know how to work that skirt. If it's too long, then maybe you shouldn't have your skirt that long. Maybe you should cut it a bit. And then finally we had Milk. Milk came out on the runway and I thought, Merlin realness. With the beard and everything. She did actually go out on the runway with a beard. And she was giving Merlin realness, you know, Greek god more than Greek goddess, you know. But I would have loved the look without the beard because the jumpsuit did look good. It looked like it was out of Fashion Week. It looked like it could have just come off the runways of Fashion Week. And it looked really fierce, the way she had it with the sheer fabric around her face and her head, covering her chest, and she had her titties out over the jumpsuit, and it looked really fierce. So, honestly, that's how it went down. In the end, Bianca Del Rio won the challenge, which I was really happy about. I thought she definitely deserved to win the challenge. Finally, we had the lip sync between Magnolia Crawford and Darienne Lake as the bottom 2. And they had to lip sync to the song Turn the Beat Around. And I was really, really excited about the lip sync because Darienne turned it out. Magnolia was just like quirky and stuff, and it didn't really work. In the end, Magnolia Crawford sashayed away. Bye-bye. Won't miss ya. So then the remaining queens go back into the workroom afterwards and meet the remaining 6 queens from last week. Talk about tension. Don't you just hate cliffhangers? Thank you, RuPaul producers, for giving us a cliffhanger. And next week, it looks like it's going to be a horror movie challenge based on the promos, which I'm really happy about. And with that, I leave you guys. This is the end of the Rucap. So, of course, you guys can subscribe to my channel. You can add me on Facebook, Ivy McCombs, or you can follow me on Twitter at PoisonIvy1398. Until next week, my darlings, can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? Alright, anyway, I love you guys so much. Let me know what you feel about this episode in the comments below. Like the video, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you love the recaps. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!